Social media was created to provide an ecosystem for people to gather and connect with each other virtually and conveniently. I grew up with AOL, MySpace, Bebo, and all the other applications and chat platforms. ASL, if you know what that means, go ahead and let me know down below in the comments. Those eventually transformed into Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, and all the other social media platforms that we find ourselves spending countless hours and times on as a way to remain connected with society and people. Even TikTok. Each app got smarter and smarter, increasing the temptation to indulge to the point I became hooked. One follower turned into 2, 3 likes turned into 100. Next thing you know, I was some type of influencer without even asking, with a few thousand followers. Next thing you know, I became hooked on the look, the attention that it came with, the aspect of wanting to remain in the algorithm and staying relevant. You know, the vanity metrics, how many followers, how many people like this post, what's the perfect time to post to get the right engagement, how can you get the eyes of the right sponsors, the right people to your page. It just became a lot. It became too much, honestly. And the authenticity of the application, I realized it really wasn't there. I noticed that a lot of people, they just go on to post their highlight reels of their life, but you hardly ever saw the background, the things that didn't look good. So whenever I posted those things, it was frowned upon because, I mean, it's social media, right? You're supposed to look good. You're supposed to put yourself in this light that everyone wants to be. Everyone wants to live and be like you. It became too much for me. Hey butterflies, and welcome back to Evolving Butterfly, where we are all about evolving out loud in our life, our money, and our purpose. I want to thank you for all your likes, comments, shares, and subscribes on the channel. It is always appreciated, and I am grateful for you. I express gratitude. Thank you, thank you, thank you. In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you all why I made the decision to leave social media for good. Ain't no coming back, honey. Nah, finito, okay? So in this video, I'm just going to be sharing with you why I made that big decision to leave social media and to change my phone number and just how life has been without it now. So yeah, feel free to check in. And if you feel that you resonate with any of this, feel free to give me a thumbs up and just leave me a little butterfly or a comment down below to let me know that, hey, you received the message. I eventually come to find that social media is nothing but this big ball of fake engagement and validation that we seek from others. We have gurus here telling us what we need to be doing to stay relevant, people telling us what we're doing wrong, and it just became too much. I found myself spending so much time scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, thinking that I knew the lives of others without really realizing that I only knew what it was that they were telling me, holding on to friendships that should have died, holding on to situations that if we didn't have social media and the connection therein, we wouldn't have any type of relationship because we never really had a relationship after all. Or how about the competition, the silent competition between some friends and people on the applications? You'd be surprised at how many times someone sends you evil eye or the jealousy boils up in different ways. And people don't even realize in the ways that it can come. So for example, say you post something, you have a caption, someone scrolls and they look at your picture, they're creating a judgment in their mind of if they're going to engage with that or not. When they choose to not engage with it, that's a sense of evil eye being sent your way because they had something in their head as to why they didn't want either their name to pop up on there or they didn't want you to have that engagement or whatever the case is. That's still evil eye in some form of way. And I realized that, especially when I started showcasing more of my spiritual side, or when certain platforms started to take off, I realized that I had different friends and some family who didn't really agree with it, and I knew they were sending me evil eye. I've always been an intuitive. I just never really let it be known to other people, or I never really let it out as to how I was feeling about certain things. So I just kind of like let it die, you know? But it was becoming too much. Me trying to delete followers and delete who I was following to the point where I realized, why am I even on here? This isn't the type of relationships that I value in the first place. When we look at our followers and the people who are on those applications, 80% don't even really like you. They don't know you. 15% of them are probably most likely just keeping check on you and they're jealous. So that's why they're there. Then you got like 2% of them who you may really know in real life. that you have some form of bond or relationship with. And the reality is the other few percent, you really don't know who they are, because most likely they're ghost followers.
Or maybe that's the 90-80%. I don't know.
Anyway, but when I looked at the social media aspect, I realized I was spending time on something that really didn't matter. And if you realize it, when you leave social media, not a lot of people really realize or notice that you're gone. Because in reality, you're just still another face in the algorithm. You're just another person. And that's exactly who I was. And those applications weren't feeding me. I realized every time I would get on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, I would get these different feelings that would arise inside of me. And it's interesting because I did do a video on this some months ago on if you all needed, social media breaks. Because I was always big on taking social media breaks because I knew that it was something within the algorithm that was created to keep you in a certain like endorphin induced state, okay? Of making you feel that you're connected with people, even when you're not connected. The endorphins of every time you get, Jonah done got tied up. Giving you the endorphins of feeling that every time someone liked your picture or they followed you, that they actually cared anything about you. But in reality, you're just something to add to their timeline. They may not even really be there for the substance. And I noticed that because when I started posting more questions and things into my captions, people would like it and keep going. They weren't even reading the captions. So why spend that time to put into something where it was the vanity metrics of what looked good? That wasn't the crowd of people that I really wanted in my circle. Those weren't the people. So I had to leave. I had to leave social media. It was no longer fulfilling my spirit. And I'm glad I did. I am so glad I did. Because since I've been gone, the people who are meant to be in my life and who I have a relationship with, we still communicate with each other. There were a couple people who noticed that I left, and they did reach out to me via email, and we stay connected now. Out of the 5,000 followers, 2 people, friends, family, no one has reached out. Because the reality is they really don't care. They check up on you to see exactly what it is you have going on in your life, but that's just about it. Not that they're really invested or interested in. And I realized that I would be trying to keep certain relationships going and pushing forward, and it wasn't a mutual form of bond coming back. I had to go, honey. I had to go. So after the social media aspect, I also changed my phone number. And that came from different reasons. I was on the phone line with someone and some things happened within that, and I realized I needed to separate and go into a different phone line. And so in me going to a new phone line, I realized that that phone number that I had, a lot of people had access to me that I either no longer wanted to communicate with anymore, who legit would just come back in, gaslight, or try to manipulate and bring themselves back into my energy field. And I'm like, why do I still allow all these people to have access to me? And I hardly talk to a lot of these people in my contact list. So I changed my phone number. And now not even 10 people have my new phone number. And that's perfectly fine because I have my village of people who I talk to. I have my friends that I've had for years that I still communicate with because we've always had a bond. We had a bond outside of social media because that's what really mattered in the first place. I'd say an estimated 75% of people have a toxic relationship with social media and they don't even realize it, honey. If that's one of the first things you do when you wake up and one of the last things you do before you go to bed, you have a toxic relationship with it. What do your screen times say? What are those notifications like? Do your brain ever cut off? And honestly, social media is meant to be more of a filler of time and emotions to keep you away from you finding ways to process within yourself, okay? To get away from you processing the things that may be going on in your life. So as opposed to you going to the therapy that you may need or journaling out your thoughts or expressing your gratitude for what you already have, you scroll and look at other people's lives. You post to want to create this image of who you are. So when someone showcases the image that you don't really want to see, you don't really like that because it doesn't look good. It makes you then begin to look at yourself and who you are and where you're at. I had to go, honey. I had to go. So I know a lot of people talk about them taking a break from social media and then they go back 30 days later, 2 months later, a year later. But in all actuality, you all, I have no intentions of going back to Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, TikTok. I have no intentions. And if you ever see me pop up with a platform or something on there, just know that it's a manager doing it and it's not me. Because I don't see a benefit in that for me anymore. So instead of me being on social media so much, I now spend more time outside. As I've always loved to, I do hate the winter months when it's hard to really go outside and enjoy this weather the way it is now. But now I'm outside like every day, y'all. So I love that aspect now of being able to come out, enjoy nature, talk with the birds, see the bees, just see God work in its natural state, I now journal more. Journal my thoughts in the morning and night. I feel more at peace. I don't feel the need to have to document or take a picture of everything that I do anymore. I don't feel the need to want to go to someone's page and see how they're doing anymore because now I have these, pages and things and I'm just going to go check up and see, okay, what this person is doing, what this person doing. I don't have the urge to do that anymore because it's not worth it. What's the reason? Is it bringing me more fulfillment? Not at all. I spend more time with myself, more time in meditation, and I spend more time creating. I didn't realize how much time and energy it was taken from me. Even me and Jonah wanna. We have a chance to spend more time together now. I didn't realize how much it was taken away from our time being together and being able to do things, and how much time I was taken away from him if I'll be scrolling or trying to take a good picture with the right angle and editing the picture and uploading it and finding the right caption. That takes a lot of time, y'all. That took a lot of time. For what? For what? Nothing. So, what, baby? See your water over there. You over here panting like you don't have any. So I take this as a moment for everyone to take this time to just assess their usage with social media. Assess your time. What do you spend most of your time on? What are you spending most of your time doing? Is it really worthwhile? Is it really aligned with your purpose? Social media didn't fit my purpose. My purpose is meant to be a free butterfly, a spirit out here, honestly, to share the things that I've learned, to share the different gifts that God has given me in the manner of what I need to give it. I don't see YouTube as being social media, which is why I haven't left. Because YouTube, when I look at the videos and things that I watch on YouTube, I'm always learning something. It's the sense of a community in a lot of ways, okay? So I don't feel the same things that I was feeling when I was on the other platforms. I don't get that same anxiety. I don't get that same high tense energy, okay, honey. I don't get that anymore. I never got that with YouTube. And so that's why I really feel like this is much different than the other platforms. But listen, he want my time now. Really, sir? So now I'm focused on building stronger regular relationships, the type of relationships where we actually communicate, not that online presence, that fake sense of engagement, because it's not real, y'all. It's really not real. I see more clearly. Oh gosh, y'all, this sky is so dang on blue. But I don't know. Have you ever considered taking a social media break? Feel free to let me know down below in the comment box. I'm not going to keep this video too long, but that's just where I'm at and why I don't see myself going back to social media and why I don't miss it. I don't feel I need it for business either. You have a lot of people who like to say, oh, well, what about for your business and the advertisement? Well, the reality is that a lot of millionaires were made before social media. And that was through the word of mouth and community. And so I'm focusing more on having my community, and that's what I have. So those, just because you don't see me on social media, don't mean that I don't communicate and talk with people. I got my hotties that I hang with, okay? Got my discords where we have our conversations and our group chats and things of that nature. I just find myself basically becoming more aligned with people who really are for me or who really love me for me and not for the image of who they think I am or the image that they feel that I should be. I was raised up to believe that your image is everything, that you want to look good in whatever it is that you do because people aren't really going to be able to accept you for who you are. That's bullshit. And that's something that I want to break. That's something that I don't want to live by. And when I start having children, that's not what I want to pass down to them. It stops with me. The image and what you put out there, what matters is that you put your authentic self out there. And that's what really matters. So I'm going to spend this time, finish writing in my journal. Well, one of my journals. I have two, but this is the one that I like to, bring around to different places and things of that nature. But I'm going to finish writing and getting some of my thoughts out and enjoying this air, this nature, because I do feel that God really speaks to me in nature. God speaks to me through the songs of the birds and through the way and the swing of the trees. I feel God's presence everywhere because we are of God. We are all made of God. And so this is my new social media. And I love the people that I get a chance to meet now because I'm no longer walking, scrolling, and walking and typing at the same time. I'm actually walking and looking around me and meeting people and saying hello. So I thank you all for tuning into this video. I encourage you to check out my other video in regards to if you need a social media break and what that may look like for you. And feel free to let me know down below, if this resonated with you, if you've ever considered leaving social media or whatever that jazz is, I've been gone for a month and I don't miss it. I don't miss it. So, as always, you all, always be real, always be true. Don't be afraid to do what you want to do, period. I love you and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.